Hello viewers, how are you today? My name is Biodun Segun. I pastor the parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, by the grace of God, in Hemel-Hempstead, Treasure House of God in Hemel-Hempstead. God bless you. We're reflecting from the Open Heavens devotional today, written by our General Overseer, Pastor Adeboye. And our topic today is Beyond the Bargain. Our Bible passage is taken from the book of John, chapter 12, verses 1 to 6. Then, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus, who had been dead, whom he had raised from the dead. Now, there they made him a supper, and Martha served. But Lazarus was one of those who sat at the table with him. Then Mary took a pound of very costly oil of spikenard, anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, who would betray him, said, "Why was this fragrant oil not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor?" This is said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the money box, and he used to take what was put in it. Praise the name of the Lord. Our reflections, or our memory verse. Our memory verse is taken from James chapter 1, verse 15. Then when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. Our reflections. It is very important to be sure of the motivation of someone's words before acting on them. The devil can make his choice to seem like a good one. It is not always a cut and dry choice between good and evil. Sometimes the choices we are presented with both seem good, but we must discern the intention behind each choice and where we will end up if we take or if we make the wrong choice. In the passage we read, Judas seemed to make a good statement that the poor should have been cared for through the money gained from the sale of the expensive perfume, rather than having been poured on Jesus' feet. However, Judas was the treasurer, and so if the perfume had been given to him, he would have sold it and kept the money for himself. Now, how do we know this? The Bible tells us that he was a thief. Jesus continued to explain that in this situation, the right choice was that Mary did not matter how Mary did not matter how noble it sounded to Mary, does not matter how noble it sounded to give to the poor. Jesus replied, "Leave her alone. She did this in preparation for my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me." Mary was able to discern what was right, but Judas could not because he was thinking of himself. Be sure that you discern the intention of other people's words and choices presented to you. If Mary had shared with Judas what she was going to do before she did it, it may have persuaded her not to with the argument of giving to the poor. But that would not have been the right choice. Judas had become so consumed with greed that he lied and cheated his way to get riches, even to the point of later betraying Jesus for money. I imagine that Jesus did not start out being so wicked, but eventually greed took over him. What maybe started as pocketing a small amount of money led to more and more stealing and lying, and his end was bitter. He killed himself because he couldn't live with the guilt. He spent so much time scheming and cheating that he did not pay attention to all the teachings of Jesus and did not understand the mercy of God. And so rather than receive forgiveness like Peter, he took his own life. What a tragedy. Are you trying to discourage somebody from being a blessing to another child of God? Be very careful. The Lord will help you today in Jesus' name. Our action point. Behind sin are terrible consequences. Every sin you avoid, you save yourself, your family, and generations' multitude of evils. The Lord bless you today. And the Lord encourage you and bless every seed that you have sown in the past. In Jesus' name. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Bye-bye.